everyone and welcome back to our indirect taxes batch SAFAL. How are you all? Yes, I'm great, Nupur. I hope everything going great. Yes, ma'am. Last lecture, we had started with the discussion of important terms. Let us quickly revise whatever we had completed and then we shall proceed further. Now, without me asking, you have to compulsorily answer in the comment section. Okay, ma'am. First we saw was taxable event. Ma'am, what do we mean by the term taxable event? Any activity or event which triggers the levy of tax is known as a taxable event. Which is the whole and sole comprehensive taxable event of GST? Ma'am, supply. Whenever supply of goods or services will happen, only at that point of time we can say GST can be levied. So, the comprehensive taxable event of GST is supply. Then we saw person. Person is not a very narrow term covering only an individual person. Person here in GST tax law means any individual, body corporate, LLP, AOP, BOI, partnership firm, body corporate, artificial juridical person, society, cooperative society, trust, government bodies, everything is known as person only. Then we discussed the definition of goods, which you were supposed to learn and remember. Ma'am, goods means, we broke the definition in three parts. Goods means other than but includes. Goods means other than but includes. Ma'am, goods means every kind of movable property. Goods means every kind of movable property other than we saw money and security. You might think of money and security to be movable, but it will never be considered as goods is what the definition is clearly saying. But includes, ma'am, there could be certain things which are not movable, but still we particularly want them to be considered as goods. What are these but includes things? Ma'am, but includes says actionable claims or growing crops, grass, or anything, things that is attached to or forming part of land which is agreed to be, most important word here is agreed to be severed before supply or under a contract of supply is going to be known as goods under GST. Then discussing further about what is money. Ma'am, money means Indian legal tender, that's INR, in foreign currency, check, promissory note, bill of exchange, letter of credit, or for that matter any instrument which is recognized by Reserve Bank of India as a medium of exchange. Everything will be considered as money only. Even certificate of deposit and commercial paper is also considered as money under GST, but there was one exception. Do you remember one exception? Money held for its dash will not be considered as money. Currency held for dash will not be considered as money. Ma'am, currency held for its numismatic value. Currency held for its numismatic value will not be considered as money. Ma'am, what is numismatic value? Let's say you are doing a collection of some kind of rare coins or notes or something like that, a series of notes which you are not going to use as currency, but you are going to sell it only. You are going to use that money in the nature of goods only. Then in that case, we will say it will be considered as goods and not money under GST. Then talking about security, ma'am, shares, stock, bond, debenture, mutual funds, rights in government shares, security, everything is considered as security only. In fact, derivatives, forward, futures are also security if they are net settled or cash settled. But if in any situation the security is settled physically via delivery, then in that case we say it is going to be considered as goods and supply and GST will be leviable. Then talking about actionable claim, definition not that important, not at all important as such. Actionable claim means claim to debt other than secured debt. Basically we can call it as claim to unsecured debts, or any kind of claim which the civil courts recognize and the civil courts grant you relief for the same. These kind of claims could be existent, non-existent, contingent, accruing, not accruing. But once if they have arose, civil court is going to recognize such kind of claims are known as actionable claims. But I had specifically told you to remember the names of 6 kind of specified actionable claim. Chalo. Anyone in the comment section, the 6 specified actionable claims under GST. Ma'am, lottery, betting, gambling, online money gaming, horse racing and casino. 6 specified actionable claims under GST, lottery, betting, gambling, online money gaming, horse racing and casino. This is all that we had completed in yesterday's class. Now moving forward, after understanding the entire meaning of goods, now we understand the meaning of services. Because ma'am, once we understand what is goods, what is services, we will be absolutely clear that if something, some kind of transaction is not falling either in the ambit of goods or in the ambit of services, then we cannot levy GST only on the same. Because GST is essentially a kind of tax which can only be levied on goods and services. If something is neither goods nor services, you cannot think of levying GST on the same. Right, ma'am? So the format of services definition again remains the same as goods only. So we say service means other than but includes. So the structure again remains the same. Service means other than but includes. See, ma'am, service means anything. Service means anything. Ma'am, what is this definition? Yes, service means anything because movable property is goods. Now, how do we define service? Because service could be actually anything. But they are saying other than goods, money, security. They say services means anything. Services means anything other than goods, money, security. Which means if something is particularly falling under the definition of goods, you consider it as goods. Now goods and money and security, they are excluded from definition of goods also, they are excluded from definition of services also, which means GST will never be levied if you are transacting purely in money or security because they are neither goods nor services, but includes. Here we say money is not a service, but the use of money, we say use of money is service. Ma'am, what do you mean by the term use of money? We are saying either you are using money or let's say you are converting money from one form currency denomination to another form currency denomination, FCD, one form currency denomination to another form currency denomination for which a separate consideration is charged. It will be known as service. Ma'am, example. Let us say Nupur came to me. Nupur said, ma'am, I have this 500 rupee note and I need a change. I said, okay Nupur. I gave her 100 rupees 5 notes. What we did? We converted the denomination of money. What I did? I simply took a 500 rupee denomination note from Nupur and gave her 100 rupee denomination note 5 notes. Will this transaction attract GST? No ma'am. Why? I gave her money, she gave me money, matter closed. Money is neither goods nor services, therefore no GST on me converting 500 rupees into 100 rupee 5 notes. But they are saying, if in any case you are converting money from one form currency denomination to another form currency denomination and you are charging a consideration for it, then it becomes a service. Let us say she came to me saying, ma'am, I am giving you 500, you give me change. I said, giving you change is a service. Where will you find change at this point of time? So what I did, I gave her 100 rupee 4 notes and I gave her 50 rupee 1 note. She gave me 500, I gave her only 450. I said 50 is my consideration. Because I converted one denomination into another denomination for you, 50 rupees is my consideration for doing this kind of transaction. Now tell me, is this a supply of service? Yes, ma'am. This is example of denomination. Then let's take example of currency. Okay. Now, if you go to a forex dealer, are his buying and selling rate same? Let us say I want to exchange rupee for dollar. Okay. Now, either you want to purchase dollar or you want to sell dollar. Now, in that case, will the forex dealer charge same amount from you? No, ma'am. If I go to purchase dollar, he will say you pay 80 rupees, I will give you $1. At the same time, let's say I have dollar and I go to sell dollar to that forex dealer. What he will say? For $1, I can give you only 79 or 78.5. Why is he doing this? Because he is earning something. He is earning something. Whatever rate difference he is earning between buying or selling, he is charging some kind of consideration from me to change my one currency into another currency. Again, we can say that yes, ma'am, this forex dealer is providing a service. Let's talk about form. I have physical cash with me. I go to bank. I deposit money into FD. They levy certain kind of FD charges, SMS charges, bank charges from me. Then we will say these kind of charges are also in the nature of consideration to change the form of my money. Then here also we will say it is a supply of service. Merely transacting into money, I give you money, you give me money, this is all not service. But if I am using money, or I am converting money from one form currency denomination to another form currency denomination for which I am charging a consideration, then that will be considered as supply of service under GST. So any kind of credit debit card charges, bank charges, SMS charges, FD charges, let's say letter of issuance charges for letter of credit, issuance charges for draft orders, all of these things which are in relation to use of money, all of these things will be considered as supply of service under GST. Then talking about security, we say that purely selling or purchasing security will not attract GST because security in itself is neither goods nor services. But if you are facilitating transaction, the word here is if you are facilitating transaction in security. Ma'am, what do you mean? What do you mean by the term facilitating transaction in security? Okay. How many of you have a demat account? Or how many of you have ever transacted into shares? Tell me. Yes, Nupur, all kinds of charges here. Chalo. Now, if you have ever seen share market or let's say purchased or sold a share in your life, you would have done it through some kind of an intermediary. Let's say you have an account on Zerodha or let's say Sher Khan, or there are various kinds of platforms from where you can do such kind of shares transaction, right? So in this case, of course, the intermediary person, because he is arranging the transaction for you, because he is helping you to sell or purchase your shares, of course, he is going to charge some kind of commission from you, some kind of agency charges from you, or some kind of intermediary charges from you, some kind of brokerage as we commonly call it. The broker through whom you are either selling or purchasing your securities, whatever commission this broker is charging because he is facilitating the transaction for you, that brokerage again is going to be supply of service under GST. The amount for which you are purchasing or selling the share is not goods, not service, but the brokerage charges associated with it, just like the bank charges associated with your money, will become supply of service under GST. Say yes or no, everyone. So here the definition says services means anything. Services means anything other than goods, money, security. If something is goods, you consider it as goods. Money and security, outside goods also, outside service also. Then we say but includes any activity relating to the use of money. Any activity relating to the main word here is use of money. Or we say conversion by cash or any other mode. Like you can convert cash or any other form of, see, money can be in all of these forms. No, money can be in any of these forms. So either cash or any other form, if you are converting from one form currency denomination to another form currency or denomination for which you are charging a separate consideration, then it is going to be considered as service under GST. See, merely if I don't charge any consideration from you, you give me 100 rupees, I give you 10 rupees, 10 note. Now here I have changed denomination, but I have not charged any consideration. Will this be service? No, ma'am. But if I give you 10 rupee 9 notes because I am charging 10 rupees consideration from you to change your denomination, then in that case, of course, that is going to be considered as service under GST. So merely changing form, currency, denomination is not service, but charging consideration for the same and then using money, then changing form, currency, denomination is going to be considered as supply of service under GST. Also, services include facilitating transactions in securities. So if you are merely dealing, buying, selling securities will not attract GST because that is not goods nor service. But services in relation to facilitating the transaction of securities, that are going to be considered as supply of services. Yes, Akshay. Yes. Done? Chalo. Shall we for the one last time discuss the definition of service once again? Yes, ma'am. If you are comfortable writing on the live chat, do write with me. If no, at least scribble on the rough page that I have told you to bring in the class every day. At least 5-6 rough sheets every day should be filled with scribbling at the end of the lecture. Okay, ma'am. So we say service means at any given point of time in the lecture, I can take name of any student who is not answering live here in the chat section to send me a picture of the scribbling that that person has done. Let's say I am telling you, chalo, let's for the one last time revise definition of service. Either I want you to write here. If I am not seeing your name here, I know the list of live students. I will call anyone's name. That let's say Krishna Priya. If she is not writing here, I will tell her, chalo, I am waiting. WhatsApp is open. Send me a picture of what scribbling you have done. So either you scribble or you write, whatever you need to do. At any point of time, I can ask you to send me a picture of the section that I am discussing for that point of time. Be aware. Okay, ma'am, chalo. Better you write here only. Service means other than, but includes. The structure remains same to same as the structure of goods definition. This is comparatively more simple. Service means anything. Service means anything other than three things. Ma'am, if something is goods, you consider it as goods. Money and security. They are outside goods also. They are outside service also. But includes any activity, any service in relation to the use of money. Any activity or any kind of transaction in relation to use of money or conversion of cash or any other form from one form currency denomination. You can write in short form also. From one form currency denomination to another form currency denomination for which a separate consideration is charged. This is going to be known as supply of service under GST. Also, services include facilitating transaction in security. Direct security is not a service, but facilitating transaction in security is definitely a service. Say yes, everyone. Understood, enjoyed, clear? Understood, enjoyed and remembered with me, done. Yes, yes, yes. Shall we proceed further? Yes, ma'am. Chalo. Now we understand a new term known as related person. Every tax law that you study, you will always find the definition of related person. Have you studied definition of related person in income tax? Yes, ma'am. Why would government insert related person definition? Because it's a general trait of any person to try to escape taxes by entering into some kind of arrangement or transaction with your related person. Let's say, if my brother is not earning, I am earning, I want to escape taxes. What I'll do? I'll transfer some of my income to my brother. Similarly, GST. There could be, like to save my GST, I can transfer money to my related, I can transfer goods services to my related person for, let's say, less consideration, no consideration. We can engage into certain kind of transactions for ITC purposes, etc. Therefore, government prescribes separate provisions if you are dealing with your related person, which that provisions we are going to see in further lectures. But for now, we are simply understanding that who are related persons under GST. Because only if you are related person, then you will be covered by such additional rules which government has prescribed only for dealing with related person. Now, to learn the definition of related person, we have made a very simple technique. It is SOFA COPES. Whenever I say related person, you have to shout out loud, SOFA COPES. Chalo, in the comment section, whenever I say related person, you have to shout out, ma'am, SOFA COPES. This is the definition of related person. Only the people covered in this SOFA ambit will be considered as related person. Anyone outside SOFA will not be a related person under GST, and those special rules which are made only for related person will not be applicable on that person. So means sole agent or sole distributor. So means sole agent or sole distributor. The important word here is not agent or distributor. The important word here is sole. Let us say today if you want to purchase CA final lectures, how many websites you know from where you can purchase CA classes? Like we have Conferenza, or we have CA Point or CA Commerce classes, or all of these kind of agents who sell lectures of CA final faculties, right? Now let's say I sell my lectures through multiple agents. They are not my related person. They are not my related person. Simply if you are transacting through any kind of agent or distributor, he or she is not your related person. Only if I decide to today sell or purchase via only one agent, sole agent, single distributor, then he or she becomes my related person. So here we are saying not every agent or not every distributor is your related person. If you decide that you are going to sell, or for that matter we also have purchase agents. So if you decide to sell or you decide to purchase everything through a single agent only. Today I appoint only one website, one agent as my agent, that you can purchase my lectures only on this particular website. You can purchase my lectures only from this particular website. Then this sole agent is going to become my related person. Are you understanding the difference between agent and sole agent? Tell me. Agent can be purchase agent also, selling agent also, right? Let's say I want to purchase some raw materials and I am confused between so many vendors. So I can appoint an agent and tell him that you go and find the most cheap and the most quality raw material for me. Now this agent will go inquire with various vendors and then he can also purchase on my behalf. So agent doesn't necessarily always means selling agent. Agent could be purchase agent also, selling distributor also, everyone is covered. But the important word here is sole. Only if you decide to sell or purchase through only one person, one agent, one distributor, then he or she becomes a related person. Let's say Mercedes. Mercedes today sells cars through so many distributors in every city. Almost in every city or every state at least, you will find the one authorized distributor who sells Mercedes cars. So now Mercedes has appointed various distributors, various agents across India, across world. So are they Mercedes related person? No ma'am. But if I today decide to sell all my lectures through a single website only, through a single agent only, then will that single sole agent become my related person? Yes ma'am. Then FA means family. FA means family. Now the scope of family under GST is extremely narrow. It's not like income tax where everyone is considered as your family. GST says that your spouse and your children will always be your related person. Your spouse and your children. Spouse means husband for wife, wife for husband. Spouse and your children also includes stepchildren. So spouse and children will always be considered as your related person. And your parents, grandparents, brother, sister. Parents, grandparents, brother, sister. Real brother, sister we are talking about, not cousins. Okay. So parents, and there is no concept of cousin parents, right? Stepmom, stepdad included. So parents, grandparents, brother, sister. If they are dependent on you, not necessarily wholly dependent, even if partial dependency is there, it's okay. If they are dependent on you through any means, then they will be considered as your family. Anyone outside, spouse, children, parents, grandparents, brother, sister, will never be considered as your family. Let's take some examples. You answer me whether this person will be considered as my related person or not. Let's say my husband. Earning independently, of course, not at all dependent on me financially. In that case, tell me, will my independent earning husband considered as my related person, yes or no? Second, let's say my grandmother, who is dependent on me, related or not related? Let's say my uncle. Uncle as in my father's brother, my real uncle, my father's brother's son. Now, okay. No, Nupur, no. My uncle's son. Let's say my real uncle's son is basically my first cousin who also stays with us and he is dependent on us. So, he is my brother. He is my first cousin brother. Yes, ma'am. Then let's say my brother's wife. Real brother's real wife. Let's say she is also dependent on me. Related, unrelated. See, first of all, the definition only covers spouse, children, parents, grandparents, brother and sister. Finish. Real. Finish. Not even your spouse's parents are your related person under GST. As I said, no, GST family is extremely small and simple. GST family says spouse, children, parents, grandparents, brother, sister. Done. Finish. Not even their spouses, not even their parents. It is not like income tax here. So here we say that husband is spouse, and spouse without even checking whether he is dependent or independent will always be considered as my related person. So my spouse and my children are always going to be, yes, considered as my related person. Talking about grandmother, grandparents, I have to check whether they are dependent or not. Let's say they are dependent, I will say yes, related person. Even let's say if my grandfather is still today earning independently, then he will not be considered as my related person for GST purpose. Okay, ma'am. Uncle's son, brother's wife is not even falling in the eligibility criteria. Then why is there even a need to check dependent, independent? This automatically will not be considered as my related person. So the last 2 points were simply given to confuse you by saying dependent term, but they are not even falling in the ambit of spouse, children, parents, grandparents, brother, sister. The matter is closed there and then only. So we don't even check for them. Then let's say my grandfather, who is independent. In fact, we are dependent on him. Let's say he has so much of property with him. So now in that case, he will not be considered as our related person. Tell me, are you understanding the concept of family under GST? If they say spouse and children, you don't even need to check whether dependent or independent. Spouse, children, you don't even need to check dependent, independent, always related. Parents, grandparents, brother, sister. Only if dependent, then related. Not dependent, not related. Other than these people, no one else will be even considered for consideration. Got it, everyone? Yes, ma'am. Chalo, next. What are we studying? We are studying related person under GST. We are studying related person under GST, which is SOFA COPS. Ma'am, so means sole agent, sole distributor. Ma'am, fa means family. Family says spouse, children, always related. But parents, grandparents, brother, sister, only if dependent, then related, otherwise not. Then C means control. C means control. And control also includes two people controlled by one person. You can simply draw a triangle here. See, let us say A controls B and A controls C. Ma'am, how can there be a control relationship? More than 50% shares, 51% or more shareholding is a control. One example. Second, let us say A has authority or power to appoint all the board of directors of B. Then also there is a control. Control doesn't only get established via shareholding. There could be other factors also which can affect your control relationship. Now this is something that you study in accounts, FR. This is not a GST concept. GST will simply give you in the question only whether there is a control relationship or not. Okay. So let's say A controls B, A controls C. Then A is related for B, A is related for C. And also we are going to say that B and C who are controlled by a common person will also be considered as related person under GST. B is not holding a single share in C. C is not holding a single share in B. They have no relation whatsoever, but still they are both being controlled by one person. No, they are both being controlled by one person, sister concerns as we call them. So these are also related person under GST. So control is very simple. Direct control is related person. Also two people controlled by a common person, triangle as we remember it, is also considered as related person under GST. O means officer director. O means officer director also in one another's business. Meaning a director for a company is a related person. Yes ma'am. So Mukesh Ambani, Reliance Limited, related person. Yes ma'am, because he is director. So director is a related person for a company. That is a direct relationship. But we also consider director officer in one another's business as related person. Ma'am, any example? Yes. Okay. Let us say we have Prachi and we have Swati. So Prachi established a company in the name of Prachi Limited. And Swati established a company in the name of Swati Limited. Now, of course, she is director in this company, she is director in this company because they are themselves the promoters or the founders of the company. Now, with this existing relationship, let us say Prachi is also appointed as a director or officer. Officer could be like CEO, CFO, any kind of officer or director in Swati Limited. And at the same time, Swati is also appointed as an officer or director in Prachi Limited. Then in this situation, we say that Prachi and Swati are also related person under GST. What we are saying that Swati and Prachi are also related person under GST. Any kind of director, yes, independent director is also company's related person only. Now we are saying that if two people are director in one another's business, officers in one another's business, Prachi is director in Swati's business and Swati is director in Prachi's business, then Swati and Prachi also become related person under GST. Okay ma'am. Now let us say Prachi is director in Prachi Limited. Prachi is also director in Swati Limited. Now in this case, let's say Swati has no relationship with Prachi Limited. Now Prachi and Swati will not be related because they are not officer director in one another's business. Only Prachi is officer or director in Swati Limited. That is all. So Prachi will be related with Prachi Limited. Swati will be related with Swati Limited because Swati is director of Prachi Limited. Here also relationship will be there. But no relationship between Prachi and Swati because they are not officer or director of one another's business. Tell me yes or no. So we are saying direct officer, direct director, a related person. Also if you are officer or director in one another's business, then also you both become related person under GST. After that we say COPs, C-O-P. P is simply partners. Partners of a legally recognized firm. So legally recognized partners. Let's say we have a partnership firm A, B, C and firm. So Mr. A, Mr. B and Mr. C, the three partners of the firm are considered as related person. There is nothing tough in P. P simply says legally recognized partners. P simply say legally recognized partners. So let's say we have A and B partnership firm. So Mr. A and Mr. B who have together formed this partnership firm will be considered as related person under GST. Okay ma'am. E means employer employee. E means employer employee relationship. So a boss and a staff, employer employee, Jethalal and Nattu Kaka. Hey, do you guys understand Tarak Mehta references? Is Tarak Mehta operative in South also? I don't know. So employer, I a lot of times take Tarak Mehta examples. Do you understand this? I am not sure whether Tarak Mehta is seen in South also or not. So Jethalal and Nattu Kaka become related person. Jethalal and Bagha becomes related person. So any employer and employee are considered as related person. And S means shares. Greater than or equal to 25% shares. Greater than equal to 25% shares. So here we say if A Limited is holding, let's say 30% shares in B Limited, they are related. A Limited is holding, let's say 45% in C Limited. Now, is there a control? No, ma'am. But still, are they related? Yes, ma'am. See, one point is C control. Control can come from shareholding also and control can come from other various sources also, like A has power to appoint all directors of B. This is also a kind of control. You study a lot of kind of controls under accounts and FR. Those are same things covered here also. So we say control is covered above only. But other than control, let us say, if there is a shareholding of greater than or equal to 25%, then we say that these two are also related person, and plus we will say that again you remember a triangle, that B and C will also become related person in this situation. So if there are two companies in which a single person is holding more than equal to 25% shares, then these two companies also become related person. So here I will say that A is holding 30 in B, A is holding 45 in C. AB related, AC related, and also because one person is holding more than equal to 25 in two people, these two people also become related person under GST. Say yes or yes. Say yes or yes. This is the definition of related person under GST. Nobody outside this will be considered as your related person. So here we say so. Sole agent, sole distributor. Family, spouse, children always related, parents, grandparents, brother, sister, only if they are dependent. Control also includes two entities controlled by same person. Officer, director in one another's business. Legally recognized partners, employer, employee, and shares greater than or equal to 25%, also including third person holding shares in both of them. So here we are saying, let us say A Limited holds 70% shares in B Limited. A Limited holds 26% shares in C Limited. So here, because more than equal to 25, A and B related. More than equal to 25, A and C related. Also one common person. We are saying one common person holding more than equal to 25% shares in B also and C also. Therefore, B and C also become related person. Kind of associates, yes. Just like we have sister concern concept, you can similarly think of one main person holding more than equal to 25% shares in two people. These two people also become related person under GST. Bolo Nupur, understood? Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, what do we mean by associate enterprises? You don't have to take the load here. In Income Tax Act, you are going to study something named as Section 92A in transfer pricing. There, whatever you understand as associate enterprises, that same meaning shall be applicable to GST Act also. But in GST questions, normally they give you a hint or they tell you only that we are associate enterprises. So you don't have to take load. Whatever definition you study, this is the definition given in GST Act. GST Act gives this definition only. GST Act says that whatever you study in section 92A of Income Tax Act transfer pricing, that same associate enterprise will be associate enterprise here also. GST has not even described associate enterprise. They have simply given the reference in the act only that you please refer Income Tax Act, matter closed. But for GST questions, you don't worry. They will always tell you or they will give you a hint about associate enterprise. And this concept is also, there is only one kind of question in one kind of chapter. There we will discuss. Then also they both will be related. Ma'am, let's say there is no triangle. Let's say there is no triangle. Simply we are saying X Limited is holding 29% shares in Y Limited. Yes, they both will be related. Let us say X is holding 30% shares in Z Limited. Yes, they both will be related. And because X is holding more than equal to 25% shares in two companies, now automatically these two companies also become related under GST. Ravi. Ma'am, P Limited is holding exact 25% shares in Q Limited. Yes, they are related. And also if P is holding in some other company more than equal to 25% shares, then these two other companies will also become related under GST. Very simple. There's nothing as such which should confuse you here. Sole agent, family, control officer, partner, employer, employee and shares. One last time, everyone with me in the comment section will write the full form of SOFA COPS, which is related person under GST. Related person under GST, SOFA COPS. Sometimes during the batch, you will feel, ma'am, please, this is enough revision. We've already revised this 3 to 4 times. But if I feel something is important, I can make you revise that thing 10 times also. And all of that revision time is considered only in 110 hours. So do not worry. Even if you feel bored, you still have to revise with me, because I want you to at least remember more than 80% of the syllabus during the batch only with me. I don't want to give you any homeworks. I want you to learn everything with me. So even if you feel, no ma'am, there is enough revision, please proceed further. No, you still have to revise with me. Chalo. Ma'am, so means sole agent, sole distributor. Fa is family, where spouse, children, always related, parents, grandparents, brother, sister, only if they are dependent. C means control, including 2 people controlled by a common person. O means officer or director in one another's business. P means legally recognized partner. E means employer, employee. And S is shares greater than or equal to 25%. Also include this triangle when one person holding in 2. They both also become related. Say clear? Shall we proceed further? Shall we proceed further? Yes, ma'am. Chalo. Control shares is not more than 25%, Sai Leela. Shares is more than or equal to 25% also. So if there is exact 20%, then also exact 25%, then also you become related. No, Gopal. No. The answer to your question is no, Gopal. Chaliye. Then we move on to understand the definition of business. Because GST is essentially a commercial tax. We normally want to levy it on transactions which are happening in course furtherance of business. So we also need to understand the meaning of business. Okay. See, for business we are saying that your intention matters. Your volume, your frequency, your continuity, nothing is going to matter. Let's say in an entire year, God, please don't listen to me. In an entire year, let's say I was able to sell only 10 lectures. That is all. My volume is just 10 lectures for entire year that I have sold for GST. Will it still be considered as my business? Yes, ma'am. You forget volume. No. Intention was business. Second, let's say in an entire year, I work only for 1 month. That's all. I do a seasonal business, so there is no continuity, there is no frequency in my business. Only for 1 or 2 months in a year, I open my shop, make sales and then enjoy for rest of the year. Is it still a business? Yes, ma'am. Let's say I start a business and I make losses. I start a business and I make losses. Still it's a business, still GST will be levied? Yes, ma'am. So here we say, you forget monetary benefit, you forget volume, you forget continuity, you forget frequency. If you are doing any kind of trade, commerce, vocation, profession, we consider everything as business only, irrespective of whether you are earning any monetary benefit or not. It is possible you are not earning any monetary benefit. It is possible you are making losses in fact, but still, if you are doing any kind of trade, commerce, vocation, profession, anything which is relating to business, it will all be considered as business only under GST. So here we say that your frequency, volume, continuity, regularity is not a prerequisite. It's okay even if you sell only one good for entire year, still it will be a business. So we say any kind of trade, commerce, manufacture, profession, vocation, even if there is no monetary benefit, everything will be considered as business only. Plus any activity incidental or ancillary to it, even if there is no volume continuity but of same nature, if you are doing something, then also it will be considered as business. Let us say my business is to sell watches. My business is to sell watch. I have a showroom and I have agencies of, let's say, Rado, Rolex and various other companies. I sell watches. Now, if a customer comes to me and says that he has a watch which is not working, so I provided him watch repairing services. My normal business is selling watches. I deal in goods. I am a trader of watches. But still, let us say I paired watch for someone and I charge some consideration from him, will it be my business? Say yes or no. Yes, ma'am, because even though repairing watches is not your main business, but still you are doing something which is ancillary or incidental to it of same nature. Even if the volume, let's say in an entire year, I hardly repair 3 or 4 watches, still will it be my business? Yes, ma'am. Let's say I own a clothes shop. Okay, I sell ready-made garments. Now to keep these ready-made garments, let's say I purchased some furniture. So I am arranging all my clothes in these racks. Now after some time I felt that no, this is not the furniture I want. This was wooden furniture, I want glass furniture. So I sell this wooden furniture. I purchase glass furniture. My business is not to sell or purchase furniture, but this furniture is related to my business of selling clothes. Then will selling of furniture be also considered as my business? The answer is yes. So here we are saying that any kind of capital goods or services that you are acquiring, no, which are in connection with your commencement of business, closing of business, related to your business, then also you consider all of those things as business only. So let's say my business is to teach. I am a teacher by profession. So my business is teaching. But still let us say I purchased computer, mic, camera, light, table, calculator, iPad, all of these purchases, are they related to my business? Yes, ma'am, of course. Even if buying computer is not my business, is it related to my business? Is it incidental to my business? Is it ancillary to my business? Yes, ma'am. It will still be considered as related to my business only. Say yes, everyone. So we say any kind of trade, commerce, manufacture, profession, vocation, even if there is loss, even if there is no monetary benefit or anything, any service, any capital goods which is related to your business, everything will be considered as business only under GST. Then we say, let's say there's a club or there's an association. You might be having various local clubs or associations around you. Let's say Rotary Club, for example, where you have to pay some kind of a membership fees and you can become part of the club. So, can you name 1 or 2 clubs around you? Let's say we have YMCA club in Gujarat, Ahmedabad. We have Rajpath club. Let's say there is this Jito named organization for all Jain people across India. Then let's say we have Rotary clubs where you can simply pay a membership fees and you become part of the club so that you can enjoy all the activities happening in the club. Now again, can we say club is doing a business? Yes, ma'am. Even if the purpose of club is not to do business, the purpose of club is to do something good for the members, but still we consider it as business only because they are charging fees from you. So here we say, let's say any kind of club or association, they provide services to their members and charge consideration against them. Yes, Lions Club. So all of these clubs, Town Club, Lions Club, they all charge a membership fees from you. So now them charging membership fees is also considered as business under GST. Next time whenever you pay membership fees, you check the receipt. It would also include GST. Unless your club is specifically exempted from GST, that's a separate thing. But for normal clubs and associations, or let's say you take a gym membership, then of course gym membership is also taxable under GST. Why? Because we consider gym as doing business for its members. Okay, ma'am. Then we say admission to any premise for consideration. I want to take entry into a zoo. I want to take entry into a park. Now, if I want to take admission at some place, no, then also they are asking consideration from me. Is it also considered as their business? Yes, ma'am. So, a zoo or a concert or a theater or a let's say theme park, amusement park, charging fees from you, consideration from you only so that you can enter into that premise. That thing is also considered as business. Then let's say you are holding some kind of a post. You are holding in the nature of your trade or profession, you are holding a post, you are holding an office and you are charging remuneration from it. Let's say you are appointed as a president or a chairperson of some kind of a body or association and they pay you remuneration for the same. That is also business. Activities happening in a horse race club where people do betting, etc. It is all also business. And last we say, even if government is carrying out some kind of activities as public authorities, that is also business. So we say you don't have to learn this definition, it's only a read once kind of a thing. So here we are simply saying that business is not just restricted to buying, selling goods or providing certain services. We say even the clubs, associations charging fees, any premise charging fees for admission, you holding any kind of a post or office for consideration, horse race clubs, etc. Government is also doing business through public authorities. So here we say that everything which is manufacture, trade, commerce, profession, vocation or related to it, even if there are losses, even if it is not regular, even if the volume is less, but still intention business, everything will be considered as business only. Say yes, everyone. Chalo. I'll ask you a question. You tell me whether it is business or not. Let's say Salman Khan. He loves painting. So he has painted this. Okay. Let's say he has painted this. So he normally sells paintings and sells them. Let us assume that Salman Khan, because he loves painting, he keeps making paintings and keeps selling them for some amounts. And he has already announced this, that after selling painting, whatever money he will receive, he is saying that after selling painting, whatever money he is going to receive from the sales of such painting, he is going to donate it. Let's say Being Human, it is an hypothetical example that I am taking here. So let's say Being Human is a charitable trust, registered as a charitable trust with Income Tax Act, let us assume. So here we are saying that let us say Salman Khan regularly makes and sells these paintings, collects money and he donates such money to a charitable trust. He donates everything. Will the selling of painting by Salman Khan considered as a business or not? The question here is, will the selling of painting by Salman Khan considered as a business or not? Majnu Bhai. I have actually made Majnu Bhai's painting. Yes, ma'am. Because understand, post doing business, whatever money I have received, what I will do of that money will never have impact on my business. Today you are purchasing lectures from me. Do you know what I do of this money after I sell lectures? No. I might keep it in bank, I might give it to my family, I might donate it, or I might simply just keep it in safe, or I might simply burn it. Will it ever affect GST leviability? Will it ever affect GST leviability for the transaction occurring between you and me? I sell you lectures, you pay me money, this is my business, no? GST is charged always. Now, after collecting money, you never know what I do of this money. Same case applicable here, that when Salman Khan sells paintings, recovers money, it is business, matter close. Why would it ever affect us whether he is donating the money post business or not? Understood? Yes. So we say irrespective of profit, loss, donation, whatever you are doing with the money, is this a trade, commerce, profession, vocation, manufacture? Yes, ma'am. Then it will be considered as business. Got it? Done, ma'am. Chalo, now we have to understand the definition of supplier, recipient and consideration. Let me ask you a question even without explaining supplier, recipient and consideration. You give me answer. Okay. I'm really sorry. I genuinely face a lot of problem pronouncing your names a lot of time because South Indian names are relatively very different from the names we use here. So if at all I pronounce your name incorrectly, you can just politely tell me that ma'am, this is the incorrect pronunciation. Don't get hurt. I'm not doing it deliberately. I genuinely face a lot of problem reading names. So I normally look for small names like, okay, Nupur, Swati, Prachi. I found some small names. So I will keep taking those examples. If I find your name little difficult, I normally try avoiding so that I mistakenly don't take your name incorrectly. Still, I try to take. So if I mispronounce it, you can drop me a text that ma'am, next class, please don't take my name like this. This is my name. You can send me a voice note. That works for me. Okay. So we have Reddy here. We have Yella Reddy here. We'll call him Reddy. Chalo. So let's say Reddy owns a shop. Reddy owns a shop and he sold chocolate to Priya. Reddy sold chocolate to Priya for which Priya paid, let's say, 120 rupees. Oh ma'am, big silk chocolate. Yes. Now without me even explaining you, you tell me who is supplier in this transaction? Who is recipient in this transaction? Is chocolate a goods under GST? And how much is the consideration here? I have not explained you supplier recipient consideration. I have just explained you goods. So question number 3, you all have to give me correct answer only. For 1 to 4, I want to check whether you know or not. Reddy sold a chocolate to Priya for which Priya paid 120 rupees to Reddy. Who is supplier? Who is recipient? Is chocolate a goods here? And what is the consideration involved in this transaction? Yes, ma'am. Reddy is supplier. Okay. Ma'am, Priya is recipient. Priya is recipient. Yes, ma'am, chocolate is goods. And consideration is 120. Perfect. Everyone gave correct answer. Yes, ma'am. Not a single student gave incorrect answer. Then should we skip the concept of supplier recipient because you already know who is a supplier recipient? No, ma'am. You cannot skip anything. Just joking. So see, we already know what is supplier, what is recipient. We just need to read it from law point of view once. We understand supplier means whoever is supplying the goods or services. Recipient means whoever is receiving the goods or services. So the definition is very simple and that is the definition given in the act also. So what they are saying is supplier in relation to any goods, services or both shall be the person supplying the goods, services or both. Wow. What is the bare definition? What is the bare definition saying that ma'am, supplier for any goods services means person supplying the goods or services. This is the definition? Yes. They are saying supplier means in relation to goods, services or both any person supplying the goods, services or both, and it shall also include an agent acting on behalf of such supplier. So let's say a supplier has appointed someone on his behalf to further sell the goods or services. Then that agent now acts as on the behalf of supplier. So agent can also be considered as supplier. So definition extremely simple says supplier means person supplying the goods, services or both including his or her agent. Okay. Then ma'am, what is this? See, initially 1 year back supplier's definition was only a 4-line definition, that's it. In May 2024 examination, this amendment got added. So prior to May 24 till November 23, if you had appeared for CA final, then in that case supplier definition was only a 4-line definition. Then government came up with some more addition to the definition saying that particularly in relation to specified actionable claims. What are the specified actionable claims, ma'am? Lottery, betting, gambling, online money gaming, horse racing, casino, etc. Not etc. Only these 6 only. So here we say that if such kind of specified actionable claims are carried electronically on some kind of electronic platform, then who should be considered as supplier? We are saying whoever is the person who is organizing or arranging such kind of actionable claims including online actionable claims, that person will only be considered as supplier. Can you give me some examples of online actionable claims or online money games that you have seen? I can give you one, let's say that Rummy Circle or Dream 11 kind of games. If you know about them, of course you know about them, come on. So here we say that if any specified actionable claim is happening through some digital or electronic platform or generally also, then whoever is the person who is arranging such transaction, organizing such kind of games or transaction will be considered as supplier. Ma'am, what will the supplier get for such kind of a games? Whenever a player plays these games or whenever a player plays bets etc. on these kind of platforms, what would the player generally deposit? Ma'am, money or money's worth or virtual digital asset. Ma'am, what is virtual digital asset? Bitcoins, cryptocurrencies, these are virtual digital assets. So here we say it is not necessarily important that you always deposit money only in the game. To your supplier, you can give consideration in the form of money also, something which is of money's worth. it could be some goods also. So let's say I pledge my iPhone. I pledge my iPhone because I want to play a game. That is not money, but money is worth of something. Yes. So money is worth or virtual digital asset. Anything can be received by the online money gaming platform in nature of consideration. For supply of such actionable claims is paid or conveyed to him or through him or placed at his disposal in any manner. So we are saying that whatever the player is putting into game, money is worth or virtual digital asset, it is received by the supplier, received by that person who is arranging the entire specified actionable claim. Then that person will only be considered as the supplier of such specified actionable claim. That person will only be considered as the supplier of such specified actionable claim who is receiving these things or who is arranging the entire game or the entire specified actionable claim. That person will be considered as supplier, and just like the GST provisions apply on any normal supplier of goods or services, all of those GST provisions like return filing, compliances, etc. will also apply on suppliers of such specified actionable claim. So we say all the provisions of this act shall apply to such supplier of specified actionable claim as if he is the supplier liable to pay tax in relation to supply of such specified actionable claims. Now, this person who is organizing the entire specified actionable claim, receiving money is worth virtual digital asset in the form of consideration at his disposal, then this person shall act as the supplier of such kind of activities, and just like any normal supplier collects and pays tax to government, this person will also be required to collect and pay taxes to government. Ma'am, are we required to learn this? No. Are we required to read this? Yes, which we have already done. Say yes, everyone understood. Supplier means any supplier of goods, services, or both, the person supplying the goods, services, or both, including the agent acting on behalf of supplier. We are going to discuss this, Srinivas, in the chapter of value of supply. Ma'am, whenever we are doing games or lottery, betting, gambling, then on all of these things, what will be the amount which is going to attract GST? You need to wait for value of supply chapter. We have entire 3-4 pages of notes dedicated to online money gaming and actionable claims only. So ma'am, how are lotteries, betting, gamblings, online games taxed? We are going to discuss everything in a lot of detail when we go to value of supply chapter. As of now, we are only understanding the definitions. Cool, no ma'am. Hot, no cool. Yes, done. चलो, मैं अपने आप पीजे मारती रहती हूँ जब मैं बोर हो जाती हूँ. I keep on passing lame jokes whenever I feel like. So if you feel, you can write something in comment section which is entertaining. I don't mind. Just do not disturb the decorum of the class. Otherwise, it's okay. We are not here just to like study. There has to be some fun. Now, I am slightly weak in passing jokes in English. If it's a Hindi batch, I can still pass a lot of jokes. So, if you feel like, ma'am, there's something, you can always be open with me. We can communicate. We can talk during the class. It's completely fine. Don't treat me as a like very strict teacher or something like that. No, chill. So I a lot of time pass a lot of lame jokes and pages which only I understand. So it's okay. Chalo. Now talking about recipient of supply of goods, services or both. Ma'am, recipient means the person receiving. So here we say, if consideration is payable. If consideration is payable. For any kind of service, if consideration is payable, then in that case we say, the person paying the consideration, the person liable to pay the consideration will be considered as recipient. Very simple. If I purchase this calculator today, I will be the person liable to pay the consideration of this calculator, then I become the recipient of this calculator. Yes, ma'am. There could be certain transactions where consideration is not payable. Consideration is not payable. Let's say I give a free sample to someone, I give free goods to someone. Now in that case, consideration is never payable only. So we say no problem. If consideration is not payable, whoever enjoyed the goods or services, whoever consumed the goods or services will be considered as recipient. So we say, if we straight away from day one know that, let's say you there's a student who got AIR 5 in Inter. Let's say there's a student who got AIR 5 in Inter and he contacted me, ma'am, I got AIR 5 in Inter. I am definitely going to get rank in final also. Can you please give me your classes for free? I said, okay, no problem. You'll get rank for me, no? You take the classes for free. So, I provided services to him of teaching. Yes, ma'am. But is any consideration payable? No, ma'am. Then still who will be the recipient? That person who is enjoying or taking benefit of the goods or services. Yes, ma'am. So if consideration is not payable, then whoever consumed the services, whoever is enjoying the goods becomes the recipient. And just like selling agents are included in the definition of supplier, we say if there is any agent acting on behalf of a recipient, purchase agent, they will also be considered as recipients. So the definition of supplier also includes agent and the definition of recipient also includes agent. So very simple definition here says that recipient of supply of goods, services or both means if consideration is payable, the person liable to pay the consideration. If consideration is not payable, to whom you render the service or the person to whom you deliver the goods. And shall also include agent acting on behalf of principal. So whenever during the entire act any reference is being made to a person to whom supply is made, you always assume that yes, supply is always made to a recipient only. So we say that any reference given to any person that we have made a supply to this person, you always construe it as okay, we are referring to the recipient to whom supply would be made. Let me ask you a question, chalo. I went to Chroma, or let's say I went to Reliance Digital. Am I just window shopping purpose? And there I was very much impressed with these headphones. I was very much impressed with these headphones. I decided to purchase them. Okay, I decided to purchase these headphones. I was just roaming and suddenly I saw Sai Leela there. Suddenly, let's say I saw Sai Leela there. And he was like, hey ma'am, do you recognize me? I said, no, sorry. He said, ma'am, I'm your SAFAL batch student. I said, okay, you see me regularly in the video. No, I can only see your name in the comment section. So I don't recognize you, but okay, hi, hello, nice to see you. Okay. And then I asked Sai Leela, hey, how are the headphones? Huh? How are the headphones? He said, great ma'am, great, you should take them. I said, okay, I'm taking them. And just like this, communicating, we went to the cash counter, the billing counter. And suddenly I realized I forgot my wallet. Sai Leela said, no problem ma'am, you can always GPay. I said, I'm using these headphones for my business purpose. You know, I can listen to the videos very clearly so that I can edit them and I can exactly cut them and provide to students if ever required. So in that case, let us say I forgot my wallet. Sai Leela said, ma'am, you can GPay. I said, shit, I forgot my phone also. He said, ma'am, I can give you my phone. You call someone from your family who will come and pay. I said, no, I don't remember mobile number of anyone. Sai Leela said, okay, ma'am, no problem. How much is the headphone worth? I said, I don't know, might be 8,000-9,000. He said, okay, I will pay. I said, okay, you pay. No problem. I'll reimburse you later on. So what happened? Sai Leela paid on my behalf there. Now in this situation, you tell me who is supplier and who is recipient. I am going to take this headphone home for my business purpose. Let us assume I met Sai Leela there at the shop. I forgot my wallet. He paid. I will later on pay to him. Let us assume. I don't know if I'll pay or not. But just assuming I'm going to pay him. So tell me who is supplier, who is recipient, and is headphone a good? Is headphone a good? Tell me. Sai Leela agreed finally. No problem, ma'am, I will pay. He said, no problem, ma'am, I will pay. I'm taking a screenshot. I'm taking a screenshot here. Next time, if I go to Chroma, I'll just straight away call you. I have your number from the lecture sheet. Be ready to pay. Ma'am, I've already paid for the batch. Come on. You can deduct it from there. Chalo, tell me. Who is supplier? Who is recipient? Chaliye. Ma'am, Chroma is the supplier. Everyone agrees. Chroma is the supplier. Everyone agrees to it. Yes, ma'am. Headphone is a good. Why? Because headphone is a movable property. So, of course, no doubt about it. For recipient, 1 or 2 students are saying, ma'am, Sai Leela is going to be the recipient because he is paying. 3 or 4 students are saying, ma'am, you are going to be the recipient because you are going to take the headphone home. No. See, do you remember when I wrote, no? If consideration is payable, first I wrote the person who paid and then I erased it and then I wrote liable to pay. There was a reason behind it. Wow, ma'am, you make mistakes even for a reason? Yes. The reason here is they have not said the person paying the consideration. Are they saying that the person paying the consideration will be recipient? No, they are saying the person liable to pay the consideration is going to be the recipient. Chalo. I need answer from Prachi Mathur. Prachi, you tell me now, after reading this point where I say not the person paying the consideration, but the important word here is the person liable to pay the consideration is going to be the recipient. Now anyone wants to change their answers. Everyone agrees on the point that yes ma'am, headphone movable property is goods and chroma is the supplier here. But for recipient, I got different answers. Some saying Sailila, some saying Riddhi. Who is going to be the recipient? Now finally, yes ma'am, who was liable to pay? I purchased the headphone for my business. Of course, I was liable to pay. It's okay. He paid on my behalf. I might later pay him, or we might agree mutually that okay, I will settle it later out. That's a separate thing. No. Who was liable since beginning to pay for it? Ma'am, Riddhi. Then of course, Riddhi is going to be the recipient here. Say, tell me, is it now clear? Yes or no? Got it everyone? Yes ma'am. There are going to be a lot of cases which we are going to encounter in further chapters where you might get confused about who is recipient, who is supplier. Simply always stick at one point. Paying, money paying. Who is paying consideration? Who will be liable to pay the consideration? He will be recipient and the opposite person is going to be the supplier. Ma'am, are you sure we will have a doubt about supplier recipient? Yes, I am sure. I am going to ask you 3-4 questions further in further chapters where you might make mistake in who is supplier, who is recipient. At that point of time, just stick your mind into thinking that who is liable to pay. The person liable to pay becomes recipient. Okay, ma'am. Now we move forward to understand the definition of consideration. So here we are saying, whenever you make a payment, now payment does not necessarily mean paying only money. Okay, let us say later on at the chroma store, when I purchased the headphone and Sailila paid on my behalf. Later on, I got to know that Sailila was only watching demo lectures on YouTube. He had actually not made purchase of the SAFAL batch. And then what happened, you know? He simply called and told me, ma'am, you adjust 8,000 against the SAFAL batch. Ma'am, you adjust the headphones against the SAFAL batch. I want serial key. Now I am not going to pay for SAFAL batch. What happened? He purchased SAFAL in exchange of headphone. Oh my God. I thought he had paid the fees and therefore I made him pay for the headphone. But later I got to know he was only viewing the demo lectures on YouTube. And this turned out into a barter transaction where I gave him SAFAL and he gave me headphone. Will this still be considered as a, can I now say that I sold SAFAL in exchange of headphone, he sold headphone in exchange of SAFAL? Yes ma'am. So consideration not necessarily has to be in the form of money. Consideration can be otherwise thing also, which is not a money. Money is worth or anything that you are giving in exchange of any goods or services, everything is consideration only. So we are saying payment can be. We are saying that payment can be in money terms also or otherwise terms also. It is absolutely fine. Oh, Sai Leela is she. I'm sorry, I was considering you as he all this time. As I told you, I a lot of time get confused with South Indian names. You can genuinely tell me. Sai Leela is not he. She is she. Okay. Chalo. Or we are saying monetary value of any act or forbearance of act. Act or forbearance. कुछ करने या कुछ ना करने का पैसा. To do something or to not do something. To tolerate something. Everything is also consideration. Let's take an example. Let's take an example here. Srinivas. Okay. Srinivas called me and said, hey ma'am, CA Srinivas speaking here. I was like, oh my God, you cleared. He said, yes ma'am. And not just cleared, I got all India rank 4 ma'am. Srinivas called me and said, ma'am, I got all India rank 4. I was like, oh my God, congratulations. I was like, oh my God, congratulations. I was so happy. And I asked, hey, what are your further plans? You're going to join industry. You're starting your firm. What? He said, ma'am, teaching. Ma'am, of course, teaching. I was again very excited that, hey, welcome to my field. Which subject you are going to teach? He said, ma'am, IDT. I said, what? He said, yes, ma'am, IDT. I said, why, Srinivas? He said, ma'am, you taught us IDT so smoothly. You know, I scored 93 marks in IDT. I am extremely confident in IDT now. I have understood the entire flow of IDT. Ma'am, I got 93. I also have articleship exposure. I am going to teach IDT only. I said, hey, this is incorrect. Huh? You are AIR 4. I am not even AIR. How can you do this? He said, no, ma'am. I am going to teach IDT. I said, okay. Listen, come here. I will pay you 10 lakh rupees. I told to Srinivas, I will pay you 10 lakh rupees. You please don't teach IDT. He thought, okay, for 10 lakh, I can agree and start some business from this 10 lakh. And he agreed. He agreed. So here we say that let us say I paid him 10 lakh just to not do something. Is this 10 lakh also a consideration? Yes, ma'am. But let's say I gave Srinivas such a pretty offer to take 10 lakh from me and not teach IDT, but still he is not agreeing. I was like, now what to do? This is just hypothetical, illegal example, just for fun. Okay. So let's say I offered him 10 lakh rupees, still he is not listening to me. Then I straight away called Nupur. I said, Nupur, listen. She was like, hi ma'am, anything for you. I said, listen Nupur, I will give you 10 lakh rupees. I will give you 10 lakh rupees. What you simply do, you remove Srinivasan from my, क्या बोलते रास्ते से हटा दो, in Hindi से उड़ा दो, सुपारी दे दो. Now I don't know what do we call it in English. So I simply gave supari of Srinivas to Nupur. I said, Nupur, you kidnap Srinivas. I said, Nupur, you kidnap Srinivas, torture him so that he doesn't teach IDT. And I paid Nupur 10 lakh rupees to do something. I told Nupur, you kidnap Srinivas. So she agreed to do kidnapping for 10 lakh rupees. Is she also supplying me services? Am I giving her consideration? Yes, ma'am. So here we are saying that consideration can be payment in money terms, otherwise than money terms. It could be monetary value to do something, to not do something, to forbear from doing something. Everything is consideration only. Do you understand? Say yes, ma'am. Remove from रास्ते, I don't know what do you call it in English यार, ऐसे बोलते हैं ना रास्ते से हटा दो इसको, उड़ा दो, वैसा. Yes ma'am. Now who is going to pay this consideration? Of course ma'am, recipient. Or we just now saw recipient can tell some other person also to pay on his behalf. Recipient can tell some other person also to pay on his behalf, just like I went to Chroma and I told Sailila to pay on my behalf for the headphone. Still I was the recipient, no problem. And whatever money was paid, 8,000 was considered as consideration only. So consideration means payment, which could be in money terms, otherwise terms. Monetary value to do something, to forbear from doing something, which is paid by recipient, or any other person. Excluding any subsidy that you receive from central government or state government. Here they are saying that local authority is a separate thing. If you receive money from local authority, that still can become consideration. But any subsidy, any nature of subsidy that you receive from central government or state government will never be considered as consideration. If something is not consideration, GST cannot be charged on it. So here we are saying that excluding subsidy, if central government or state governments gives you any kind of subsidy, GST is never charged on subsidy. They are simply saying subsidy will not be considered as consideration only. Okay, ma'am. Chalo, one more question I ask you. What is the difference between deposit and advance? Anyone? Let's say I went to stay in a PG. For this room in a PG, I am saying I gave a 10,000 rupee deposit and I also gave 3 months advance rent. Let's say 1 month rent is 5,000. So I gave 5,000 as advance rent and I gave 10,000 as deposit. What do you understand as a difference between advance and deposit? Anyone? If you are using any Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam words here, I don't know anything. I'm sorry. Please write with subtitles. I only know Kunjam Kunjam Tamil. Like Kalyanam, Periyatala, Kottamali. This is all that I know. Chalo, very good. Correct answer from everyone. Ma'am, deposit is refundable. Ma'am, deposit is refundable. Advance is adjustable. Very good, guys. Ma'am, deposit is refundable. Deposit is refundable. Advance is adjustable, which means if I have given 3-month advance as 15,000 for next 3 months, I am not going to pay rent only. For next 3 months, I am not going to pay rent only. 5,000 advance will be adjusted against the service that I am receiving. But deposit I have to give. Plus, I have to continuously keep giving rents also. And later, let's say, whenever I'm leaving this PG, no, at that point of time, this deposit will be refunded to me. If I have not defaulted on any rent, I have not made any damage to the property. If let's say I default a 2-month rent, then they can cut it from my deposit. If I make some kind of damages to the property, they can cut from my deposit and then they are going to refund me. So here we say that if in any situation, your deposit is applied, let's say I gave a 10,000 deposit and I forgot to pay 1 month rent. Therefore, they deducted 5,000 from my deposit and applied it for my supply. Then this deposit will be considered as consideration. But merely giving a deposit as a guarantee, a refundable deposit, and then receiving it back, it is not going to be considered as consideration. So let us say today you go to stay in a PG and you give deposit to them. No GST will be charged on deposit. But if you give advance to them, advance is adjustable in future. It is for the service. So GST will be charged on advance, but not on deposit. Why? Because ma'am, advance is a consideration, but deposit is not a consideration. Say yes or no. If the deposit is not refundable, then it becomes consideration only because now you are paying it to acquire the service. Okay, ma'am. So here we are saying that deposit will be considered as payment only if you are applying it for the supply. Say yes or no. Done, ma'am. So here we finally understand all the terms that are used in a transaction happening under GST. So when I say that a supplier will supply goods or services to a recipient for which the recipient is going to pay consideration, then this entire transaction becomes a transaction taxable under GST. Do you understand each and every term that I just now used? Ma'am, do we know supplier? Yes. Do we know recipient? Yes. Do we know goods, services and consideration? Say yes, ma'am. And here we complete an entire transaction chain in GST, and you can successfully use all these law terms with their definitions while writing a sentence under GST. Say yes, everyone. Did you understand everything fully or you understood only kunjam kunjam? Tell me. You teach me 10-15 words. Every attempt, English batch students teach me 5-6 words. So this Kalyanam, Periyatale, Kottamali, Kunjam Kunjam, I have learned everything through the batches only. So you slowly teach me 10-15 words till the batch. So let's say after 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I might actually know entire Telugu Tamil. Who knows? Chalo. Understood everyone? Yes, ma'am. Then we understand the concept of distinct person. Now, whenever I say distinct person, you have to shout out loud, ma'am, same PAN, separate registration. Repeat after me, guys. Same PAN, separate registration. Who is a distinct person? DP is not Deepika Padukone. DP is distinct person. So, whenever I say distinct person, what are you going to shout out loud? Ma'am, same PAN, separate registration. Same PAN, separate registration. What is the meaning of same PAN, separate registration? Ma'am, same PAN, separate registration means, first of all, do you know GST numbers are PAN based? Yes, ma'am. GST numbers are PAN based. Do you know this? No, ma'am, or yes, ma'am. Can you please still explain? See, if you have ever seen a GST number, the first 2 digits are state code. Do you know your state code of GST? Tell me. Do you know your state code? Write the state code and the name of your state. Just a GK question. As I said, GK free with GST. Grammar free with GST. Okay, ma'am. So state code. The first 2 digits are state code. The next 10 digits of the GST number is my PAN number if I'm taking a GST number. Okay, ma'am. So here we are saying, and then further we have entity code, checksum character, etc. But every GST number is going to have the PAN number of the person taking the GST number embedded into it. Okay, ma'am. Now in this case, we say that no matter how many registrations I take in GST, my PAN number is going to be always same. Yes, ma'am. So all the registrations under a single PAN number are going to be considered as distinct persons under GST. Now tell me, is GST registration state specific or central registration? Let's say I have one branch in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. And let's say I have one branch in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Will a single registration work for both of my branches, or I will have to take separate registration in Gujarat and Tamil Nadu? Tell me. So we have students from 07, 29, 37, 32, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Delhi, Karnataka, Rajasthan. Nice. Chalo, tell me. My question here is, I have 2 branches, okay? One in Gujarat and one in Tamil Nadu. Can I operate under a single GST number in both the states, or I'll have to take separate registration? That's my simple question. Ma'am, of course we have to take separate registration because GST registrations are state specific. GST registrations are state specific. Example, I am teaching today, okay? My business is to teach. Plus, let us assume I also have a side business of clothing. So here, let's say I do teaching from Gujarat. And I sell clothes from Tamil Nadu. Or let us say I sell clothes from Gujarat and I sell clothes also from Tamil Nadu. In both the situations, you have to take separate registration. Yella Reddy, even if your business is same in both the states, still you have to take separate registration because GST number is always state specific. The moment you open a new branch in some another state, you will have to take registration for that state also. Question number 1. Question number 2, let's say in Ahmedabad itself, I have 2 offices. Let's say one office I have for my teaching purposes and another office I have for my clothing business. And both of these shops are in Ahmedabad, basically in Gujarat only. Now tell me, can these both shops operate under a single registration because they are in same state only? Or you will have to take separate registration because the business is separate? My question here is, I have 2 offices in one state for different business verticals. Can I still operate both of them in a single registration, or I'll have to take separate registration for both the shops? Very good. The answer here is, ma'am, I can operate in single registration because we are saying that even if your business is separate, even if you have 5, 6, 10 branches in a single state, you can still always operate under a single registration because the owner is same. No, the owner is same, the PAN number is same. So under same PAN, no matter however branches you open in a single state, you can do business in a single GST number. But for different state, even if your business is same or different, you will have to take separate registration. But ma'am, it is okay. I can operate under a single registration in a state for 2 branches. But if I voluntarily want to take, मेरे को चुल है इसीलिए I voluntarily want to take 2 registrations for 2 businesses in a same state. Can I take? Will anyone stop me? Tell me. Yes, very good. Ma'am, it's our choice. If we want, we can take two. If we do not want, we can still continue to operate in a single registration. There is absolutely no problem. So here we are saying different business verticals is not a precondition only. Same state or different state is a precondition. If there are different states, then to compulsorily separate registration you have to take. But under same state, you have a choice. If you want, you can take. If you don't want, it's okay. You can continue under the single registration also. Now I am saying that distinct person means same PAN, separate registration. Distinct person means same PAN, separate registration. So let us say I have one branch in Kerala and I have one branch in Rajasthan and I am supplying goods from Kerala branch to Rajasthan branch. Will you consider them as distinct person? Tell me. Owner is same only. Then let us say within Maharashtra, from Mumbai to Pune, I sent some goods. From Mumbai to Pune, I sent some goods. Now for students who don't know, Mumbai and Pune, both these cities are in Maharashtra only. Both of the branches are of a single same person operating under same PAN. Will you consider them as distinct person? Ma'am, it depends. If they have taken separate voluntary registration, then we consider them as distinct person. But if they have not taken separate registration, then we do not consider them as distinct person. So here I am saying that because states are different, I know mandatorily they will be separately registered and therefore yes, they will be distinct person. But if two cities are given from a same state, then by default we assume they are single registration only. Because why would a person want to increase compliance? Why would normally a person want to take two separate registrations when he can operate in a single? So if the question is silent and they give you two cities from a same state, you normally assume not distinct person. But if the question explicitly says that they have taken voluntary separate registration in a state, then you call them as distinct person. So whether the state is same or the state is different, that makes no difference to us. We simply need to see that is the PAN same and are the registrations different, then yes, they become distinct person. So the definition is only a one-line definition saying that same PAN, separate registration. It can be in same state, it can be in different state. So let us say I transfer stock from Ahmedabad to Surat. Ahmedabad and Surat, both are in Gujarat. Then in that case, ma'am, if they are under same registration, not distinct person. But if they voluntarily decide to get separately registered in the same state, then they become distinct person. Say yes, everyone. Say yes, everyone. Ardham Ainda. Ardham Ainda means understood. Let's say, Srinivas, I have a clothing business and I have my CA firm. Now, I don't want the accounts to get mixed. I don't want my CA accountant to know about what is happening in my cloth business. The person filing the returns, etc. is going to be the same person. If everything is operating under single registration, I'll have to file consolidated returns. I want to maintain separate accounts. I want to maintain the separate businesses. Then it is possible I can decide to take two registration in the same state also. Arthamaindi. Okay. Arthamaindi, guys. Arthamaindi, everyone. Yes, ma'am. Understood. Chalo. Then we understand the meaning of establishment of distinct person. Establishment of distinct person. See, let us say I have one restaurant in Surat. I have one restaurant in Surat which is registered under GST. Now, for people who don't know, Gujarat is a dry state. Ma'am, dry state means no alcohol. You can openly sell in Gujarat. What are you talking about? Yes, Gujarat is a dry state. So, my Gujarat restaurant simply serves mocktails and coffees and food, etc. But I want to open a liquor shop. So, let's say I opened a liquor shop in Goa. Only selling liquor. Only selling alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Now in this case, whatever 100% of my sales is alcohol liquor only. Do I need to take registration in GST? No, ma'am, because there is no GST applicable on alcoholic liquor for human consumption. So we are saying no GST. no GST is going to be applicable on liquor, which means whatever sales I am making, I will not be required to collect GST. So why should I even take registration? Right, ma'am. So my Goa shop is unregistered, let's assume. But my Surat shop is registered. Will these two places considered as my distinct person? No, ma'am, because distinct person says same PAN, separate registration. Even though the shops are under same PAN, but are they separately registered? No, ma'am. Therefore, they are not distinct person. But we can still call them as establishment of distinct person. See, distinct person talks from the point of view of registration. So we say that two registrations, two GST numbers under same PAN are distinct persons. But establishment is talking about a place, a branch, a factory, an office, any kind of representational place. So we are saying for the two places which are owned by a same person, even though those places are registered or unregistered, doesn't matter, they will always still be considered as establishment of distinct person. So here we say, if there is registration at one leg, one of my place has to be registered, then all the other places which I only own, which are under my own PAN only, they could be registered, they could not necessarily be registered, it's okay. Still these establishments are going to be considered as establishments of distinct person. Example being a registered restaurant in Surat and an unregistered liquor shop in Goa owned by a same person. This is not a very important concept, but distinct person is an important concept. Questions are framed from here, not from here normally. Say yes. Say yes. Got it, everyone? So see, goods, services, related person, distinct person. Consideration, supplier, recipient. Money, security, actionable claim, specified actionable claim. Taxable event, person. I have taught you all of these definitions. Anyone, any problem, or you are able to recall everything? Quickly tell me. Anyone facing any problem or able to recall everything? Sab samjha? Everything ardhamaindi? Got it, ma'am. Chalo. Now we understand something known as online gaming and online money gaming. Online gaming and online money gaming. Online gaming simply says, any game that you play online. What is this time pass? Yes. Online gaming says any game that you are playing on an electronic network over the internet, basically online. It also includes online money gaming. So online money gaming is a part of online gaming. Now it is not necessary that every online game involves money. Of course, there are normal simple games also, like the snake game and then home escapes and then subway surfers, etc., which you can simply play without money. So those are all online games. Yes, ma'am. And plus there is a category of online game which is OMG, online money game. So we say that any game, any kind of game that I play over internet online, it is considered as online game. And it also includes online money game. Then ma'am, what is particularly online money game? What is particularly online money game? See, here we say that online money games are games in which the player is going to pay or deposit money, money's worth, or virtual digital asset. Virtual digital asset is simply ma'am, bitcoins or virtual digital assets, basically, yes, cryptocurrencies. Now tell me, if you are playing any online money game, why will you deposit money into it? What expectation you have? If you are playing any online money game, why will you deposit money, money's worth, or virtual digital asset in that game? Ma'am, because I am expecting, I am having this expectation that I will win. more money. More money is worth. More virtual digital asset. Why would I pay money? Because I am expecting more money. More money is worth. More virtual digital asset. Yes, ma'am. Right. Now, you can call it as a game. You can call it as a game, event, scheme, activity, competition, process, anything. Government is saying that even if you name your game as an event, competition, activity, process, is it essentially a game? Yes, ma'am. We consider it as game. So we are saying that you are paying or depositing. You are paying or depositing money. Money is worth virtual digital asset because you are expecting more money. Money is worth or virtual digital asset, and you can name it as event, game, scheme, competition, activity, process, anything. Now you might say, ma'am, playing rummy is no luck. You might say that, ma'am, if you have to play rummy online, no, it is not luck. You have to use your brains. Let's say Dream 11, ma'am, you have to use your brain to make that team and everything. It is not a game where you win by luck. Government says no problem. If this kind of game is skill based or chance based or luck based or both based, doesn't matter, we still consider it as online money game. Government has closed all the ways through which you can escape taxes. Now government thought, you might say it is not a game, it is a scheme, event, competition, process, activity, transaction, whatever. Government said everything is game. You might feel that, ma'am, this online money game is skill based, chance based, luck based, both based, means some skill required, some luck also required. Doesn't matter. It will still be considered as online money game. Casinos are not online money games. See, understand, we have separate specified actionable claims: lottery, betting, gambling, online money gaming, horse racing and casino. We are particularly discussing only online money gaming. Casino is a specified actionable claim but not online money gaming. Srinivas, understand, all of these terms are different. They are all specified actionable claims. Somewhere provisions relating to all of them are similar. But as of now, I am discussing only online money gaming out of all the specified actionable claims. Remaining will come in the remaining chapters as and when discussed. Okay, ma'am. So I am saying that online. Yes. Yes, Nupur. So we are saying any game that you are playing online. Any game that you are playing online where you are depositing money, money's worth, virtual digital asset, because you are expecting to win more money, money's worth or virtual digital asset. You might name it as event, game, scheme, competition, activity, process, whatever. You might call it that the performance is based on skill, chance or both. And there could be some games which are for time being banned in India, but still if you manage to play them, then also we consider them as online money gaming. So we are saying there could be a game which is not permissible or otherwise, permissible or not permissible for time being in force. But if you still manage to play that game anyhow, it will also be considered as online money game. See, there are a lot of games which government bans. There was this one game, it was not online money game, but yes, it was a game. I am not able to recall the name of the game. I think you know this. I was in school when this had become popular suddenly. People were doing suicides. There was this game which used to give you tasks daily and then you self-harm yourself, and then it reaches to a stage where you conduct suicide, etc. What was the name of that game, Ray? And then government ultimately banned it. So that is one example of a game being banned, not permissible by government. So that was of course very dangerous thing. But here we are saying there can be some kind of, blue whale, yes, very good. It was a blue whale game challenge where you self-harm yourself and then the intensity increases daily, and then ultimately when you complete the entire game, they give the task of suicide, and I don't know how it used to work, but it was something at that point of time, very popular. Right, ma'am. So here we say that there can be some games which are banned, but still if you manage to play them, then also they will be considered as online money gaming. So we are saying if it is permissible or otherwise under any law for time being in force, if you have played, you have deposit money, money is worth, it will be considered as online money game. Say, again, these two terms not required to remember, just required to know, which we have got to know. What you need to remember particularly is these four things and specified actionable claim. That is all. Only 5 definitions you need to learn by heart word to word. Other than that, everything you should only know. Okay, ma'am. Chalo. Then we understand what is export of goods. Ma'am, very simple. When you take goods outside India, you are taking the goods out of India to a place outside India. It is export of goods. Goods you can physically see, no. Goods I can physically see that goods are going out of India. I've put the goods in a vessel, I've put the goods in an aircraft and I've sent the aircraft or vessel out of India. I know export happened. So export of goods is just a one line thing that I can see the goods being exported. So no need to check any other thing. No, I can physically, practically see that the goods have gone out of India. I can say that export of goods have happened. So taking goods out of India to a place outside India is export of goods. But services I cannot physically see. See, understand. Government today gives you a lot of benefits if you are exporting. Why? Because you are earning forex for the country. So when you are exporting some goods or services, government do not levy taxes. In fact, government gives you some incentives from their side. One, so they don't levy taxes, and plus they also give you refunds and incentives and etc. So of course a person will deliberately try to show to government that he or she is exporting. Now goods to you cannot show without exporting, because goods to government can physically also see, no, that whether they've gone out of India or not. But services you can say that yes, I provided consultancy to Mr. John. Let's say I talked to Mr. John from USA. I talked with him on call. I said, okay, tell government no that I've provided consultancy. What's the proof? Because I gave him some advice and I am saying I gave him advice. How can government actually trust on me? Whether actually, because service I cannot see, it is intangible. Therefore, for services, government has placed additional conditions that if you want to consider something as export of service, no, you need to fulfill these 5 conditions. They are saying that location of supplier, LOS is location of supplier. It will, LOS term will come like 100 times in the book, so you will already automatically understand. LOS supplier, LOR recipient. So we are saying that location of supplier has to be in India and location of recipient has to be outside India. Of course, only then export can happen. I am exporting something from India to outside India, then of course I have to be in India and my recipient has to be outside India. Plus they are saying that place of supply should also be outside India. Okay ma'am, supplier in India, recipient outside India, and according to place of supply provisions, place of supply should also be outside India. This is very common, general, understandable that yes ma'am. Okay, then we say payment received by supplier in convertible forex and INR can be permitted only, INR can be accepted only when government has permitted it. Do not worry Nupur, it will get covered. Chaliye. Now, we are saying that see, how can you prove government that you have actually, how can you prove government that you have actually made export of services? Simply by receiving forex. I can just bring forex and tell government, no, that see, this is the forex that you have been waiting for. I've got it for you. Consider my service as export of service. Yes, ma'am. So here we are saying that supplier has to be in India. Recipient has to be outside India. Place of supply has to be outside India. These 3 are general. Then we say, if you have actually exported something, then you should receive convertible forex currency in India. There are certain cases where government also permits INR. Like for some kind of exports that we make to Nepal, Bhutan, etc., INR is permitted. And also for Vostro accounts, INR is permitted. So there are some situations where RBI can permit you to bring INR, but normally you always have to bring convertible forex. Then we can give you export benefits. No. And last point, we are saying that supplier and recipient should not be mere establishment of distinct person. Otherwise, what I can do, you know, I have one office in India. I can simply set up an establishment in Pakistan, or let us say, what will be even Pakistan of use, let's say in USA. I just set up a small branch in USA and I keep providing services to USA branch only. My own distinct person only. And I tell government to give me benefits. Just to claim benefit, I am showing that I am giving them services. So this is also not acceptable. And we will discuss more on this. We have a chapter named as Import Export under GST in syllabus. We are going to take whole 2-3 hours to discuss export and import and the provisions relating to it. This is just an overview for you to remember. Okay ma'am. So what is this mere establishment and everything? I will explain you through an entire example and a circular. For now, you just understand the overview. Okay ma'am. So the 5 conditions. The 5 conditions for us to consider an export of service as actually export of service under GST is, ma'am, the supplier, Location of supplier should be in India. Location of recipient should be outside India. The place of supply should also be outside India. These three are general and common. Okay. Then we say plus. You should receive the consideration in convertible forex. INR is permitted at some places where RBI allows. Plus whatever supplier and recipient are doing amongst themselves, they should not be establishment of distinct person. They should not be establishment of distinct person. Ma'am, what is the meaning of this thing? We will understand in utmost detail when we go to import export chapter. For now, you just understand these 2 points. You can just read these 2 points. Keep in mind, I will take the discussion later on when we go to the chapter. Okay, ma'am. Do you have an idea about what is Vostro account? I'm sure you have studied this in AFM, earlier SFM, because I had studied, of course it is not removed from the syllabus, I believe. What is this Vostro accounts? Any idea, anyone? What is this Vostro accounts? Any idea, anyone? Ma'am, we had studied something like their account, our country, our account, their bank, something like that. Do you remember Vostro account, guys? No. How is this possible that you have no idea about Vostro account? Because it is there in AFM syllabus. Either you have not completed AFM syllabus, that's a separate thing. Chalo. I will not explain into very much detail because it will come in AFM. But I will give you an overview and you will understand with that. Listen. Let us say India wants to carry out trade with Russia. Let's say India wants to carry out trades with Russia. And we decided to trade in dollars because let's assume Russia doesn't trust Indian currency, our INR, and we don't trust Russian rubles. This is an arbitrary example to explain you. So we do not want to transact in either of the country's currency. So we decided to transact in dollar. Let's assume. Okay. But suddenly what happened? Russia and USA entered into a war. And now therefore Russia doesn't want to use dollars because they are in war with USA. Why would they use an enemy country's currency? Now what to do? We don't trust INR, we don't trust rubles and we don't want to deal in dollar. Now what to do? Here what happens is, the Bank of India opens an account with Russian bank and that corresponding Russian bank opens an account with Indian bank. So whenever the trade is happening, the person from India will pay money here. The person from Russia will pay money here. And ultimately, whatever India has to pay to Russia and Russia has to pay to India gets set off through these banks. The interbank banks that we open means Russian account with us and our account with Russia. This is Vostro accounts. So here we say that let us say Russia has this bank in corresponding dealer bank with the Indian bank. Now here whatever, this person will deposit Russian rubles only here, but I will receive INR. I will receive INR from the Vostro account because the payments are internally set off. Now here in this situation we say that if you are receiving INR through such Vostro accounts where government only permits receiving amounts through such Vostro accounts because essentially it is a forex transaction, the banks are setting off things and we are simply getting INR only. So here we say that if your export proceeds are paid in INR from a special rupee Vostro account of the corresponding bank of the partner trading country. So the Russian bank has a bank in India's authorized dealer bank and I receive INR from that bank. Then in that case we say okay and subject to all other RBI circulars and foreign trade policy fulfillment. If everything is okay, then even if you receive INR from your Vostro account, it is okay. We will still consider as if you have received convertible forex and it will be accepted as your consideration for export of service. We will take a lot of discussion further with respect to export of service in further lectures. This is just the definition part. As of now, we are only taking the definition part. So supplier has to be in India. The recipient has to be outside India. Place of supply has to be outside India. There should not be mere establishment of distinct person and I have to receive convertible forex. Yes, you can kind of call it as official hawala. Yes, you can. So you have to receive the currency in convertible forex at some places like Vostro account, etc. INR is permitted, but make sure that you are respecting all the RBI circulars and the foreign trade policy. If all 5 conditions satisfied, I call it as export of service, but goods you can physically see, so no problem only. You are sending goods outside India to a place outside India. It is considered as export of goods. And here we officially complete the entire chapter of important terms. Tell me, are you feeling confident with me? A lot of heart, fire, bomb emojis in the comment section to express that yes ma'am, we have understood, enjoyed and almost learnt everything with you only. Chalo. Now we will take 5 minutes to revise everything. Super fast revision as we do at the start of lecture or the end of lecture every day. Let's see ma'am how. Taxable event. Ma'am, taxable event is an activity or an event which triggers the levy of tax, and in GST, there is one comprehensive taxable event known as supply. Ma'am, person doesn't only mean individual person, individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, partnership firm, LLP, body corporate, artificial juridical person, society, cooperative society, everyone is a person. Ma'am, goods. Goods means movable property. Goods means every kind of movable property other than money security, but includes actionable claim, growing crops, grass, things attached to or forming part of land which are agreed to be severed under a contract or before a contract of supply. Okay ma'am. Service. Ma'am, service means anything. Service means anything except goods, money, security. Because if something is goods, you consider it as goods. Money and security, neither goods nor service. But includes use of money or conversion from one form currency denomination to another form currency denomination for which a consideration is charged. It will be considered as service. Ma'am, what is money? Money is INR, forex, letter of credit, bill of exchange, promissory note, any instrument recognized by RBI. It also includes certificate of deposit and commercial paper, but it does not include any currency which you are holding for its numismatic value. Ma'am, security means share, stock, bond, debenture, mutual fund, everything. Share, stock, bond, debenture, mutual fund, everything. It also includes derivatives, forwards, futures if they are cash settled. But if the derivatives, forwards, futures are net settled, are physically settled, then they will be considered as goods. Ma'am, actionable claims is basically claim to unsecured debt. Anything that is going to happen, not happen, I don't know, but civil code recognized it. You have to remember the names of 6 specified actionable claim. Lottery, betting, gambling, online money gaming, horse racing and casino. Lottery, betting, gambling, online money gaming, horse racing and casino. Then moving on to supplier, the person who is supplying the goods. The person who is supplying the goods or services will be considered as supplier, plus also includes agent of supplier. Plus for such specified actionable claims, whoever is the person who is going to arrange or organize the specified actionable claim, who is going to receive the money's worth or virtual digital asset is going to be considered as supplier, and such supplier has to make all compliances under GST just like a normal supplier. Ma'am, for recipient, whenever consideration is payable, the person liable to pay the consideration will be recipient. If consideration is not payable, then in that case, the person who enjoys the goods or services becomes the recipient. And also, agent of recipient forms part of the definition of recipient. Ma'am, talking about consideration, whatever payment you are doing, it could be in money terms, it could be in otherwise terms, or it could be monetary value of any act or forbearance, means to do or to not do, anything for which you are paying some kind of monetary value. Who pays, ma'am? Recipient pays, or recipient can also tell any other person to pay on his behalf, doesn't matter. Still, it will be considered as consideration, but any subsidy that you receive from central government or state government will not be considered as consideration. Received from local authority will be considered as consideration. And deposit only if actually applied. Only if you actually apply the deposit for payment, then it becomes consideration. Just like a normal refundable deposit given and taken will not be considered as consideration. Ma'am, who are the related person under GST? Ma'am, sole agent, family, control officer, partner, employer, employee shares greater than equal to 25%. Once again, ma'am, sole agent, sole distributor, family, spouse, children, always related. Parents, grandparents, brother, sister, only related if they are dependent. Control also includes 2 people controlled by a common person. officer director, plus in one another's business, legally recognized partners, employer employee, shares greater than or equal to 25% also includes two people who are a single person holding shares in both of them. Ma'am, whenever I shout distinct person, you have to say same PAN, separate registration. Come on everyone, whenever I say distinct person, you have to say same PAN, separate registration. Now same PAN, separate registration can be in same state also, can be in different state also, that doesn't matter. What matters is same PAN, separate registration. But establishment is with respect to your places, your establishments. Now those establishments could be registered, could be unregistered. If registration at one leg, further whatever is my next establishment can be registered, can be unregistered, still it will be considered as my establishment of distinct person. Ma'am, online game is any game that I play online, also includes online money gaming. And online money gaming particularly means any game which is played online where the player is depositing money is worth virtual digital asset because he want to win more money. Money is worth virtual digital asset. You can call it as game, scheme, event, competition, whatever. You can call it as a performance by luck or chance or skill or everything or anything. And it could be permissible, not permissible. Still everything is online money gaming only. And then export of goods simply means taking goods outside India to a place outside India. But export of service simply means supplier has to be in India, recipient has to be outside India, place of supply outside India. They are not mere establishment of distinct person, and I am receiving convertible forex INR only at the places where it is permitted. It becomes supply of service. Ma'am, what is a business? Your intention should be business. Volume, frequency, continuity, anything doesn't matter. If you are doing any kind of trade, commerce, profession, vocation, manufacture, whether you are earning monetary benefit or not, anything related to business, admission, membership fees of clubs, association, holding an office, horse race clubs, government acting as local authorities, public authorities, everything is considered as business only under GST. Have we missed on something? No, ma'am. We officially cover all the definitions that we have been studying past 3 hours. 2 hours lecture today, and I guess 1 hour yesterday I took for these important terms only. So 3 hours can be revised simply in how many minutes, ma'am? 3 minutes. 3 hours is equal to 3 to 4 minutes. Ma'am, you can revise, not we. If you do multiple revisions with me, of course, we are also going to reach a stage where entire GST is going to be manageable for you in only half or 1 day, which is what is available with you 1 day prior to examination. I am making you 1 day prior to examination ready. Then it's your duty, your responsibility to become examination ready. Tell me, yes ma'am, 100% confident we can at least recall 70-80% of the things with you. Can you recall 60, 70, 80, more than 60%, at least more than exemption percentage things with me now in class only? So if you do 1 or 2 further revisions at home, you can definitely get me that 83 plus and the all India highest marks wala target. Yes ma'am. All the classes till Saturday will be on YouTube only. Sunday we will have an off, and then from Monday we are going to start the classes on app. For any further query, like if you are ordering pen drive, ma'am, when will we receive the pen drive, how to access lectures from Google Drive, how to access the lectures from the app, how to use the serial key, I don't know anything. I have given you the tech team number in lecture number 1. You please call on the tech team number. I can also repeat that number from you. You can drop a text to them or you can also call them in the office hours. Do not call at midnight and then say they are not picking the call. The number here is 95845 10000. 95845 10000. 95845 10000. You can call on this number for anything that you need. Subject related query, connect with me. Any other query, connect with the team. Because I stay in a different state, team is at a different state. Even if you contact me, I will redirect you to them only. And they are extremely helpful. Do not worry. Yes, Gopal. Is your name Gopal or Naik or Kavana? I mean, Kavana, Gopal, Naik. What is your name actually out of 3? Chaliye. Done here. Then tomorrow also, day after tomorrow also, we will meet on YouTube only. Same time, same place. Sunday we will have an off, and then from Monday we will shift to app. On app, hardly 4-5 lectures we will have in evening, and then from like around 13-14 December, we will start the lectures in the morning time, where the time will increase to 3-hour duration. As of now, for next 7-8 days, I will take a 2-hour class, and as soon as we move to the morning schedule, your classes will be 7:30 to 10:30. Only then we will be able to complete the course. 2 hours classes, the class will go to like 50-60 days. I want to complete it in 45 to 40, almost like 40 to 45 lectures, for which we will have to take 3 hours session. So the day on which we start the morning sessions, your timings will be 7:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Lecture number, like till lecture 10, I guess we will have evening classes. After lecture 10, from lecture 11, we will shift to morning time. Okay, Kavana. Chaliye. Bye guys. See you all tomorrow. Take care.